Hello everyone, welcome to yet another episode of our Polity Quick Revision series. So now that we've covered the chapter on Parliament in great detail in the past few videos, let's try to test ourselves by taking a look at some interesting questions also from this particular topic. So without any further delay, let's get started.
Okay, let's take a look at some questions then. Consider the following statements with respect to provisions for removing deadlock. Okay, between the two houses of parliament. After a bill has been passed by one house and transmitted to the other house, the president may notify to the houses his intention of to summon them for a joint sitting if. So what are the conditions for joint sitting? The bill is rejected by the other house, option number one. Option number two is the houses have finally disagreed as to the amendments to be made in the bill, and more than 3 months have elapsed or lapsed, I guess, from the date of the receipt of the bill by the other house without the bill being passed by it. Which of these options are right?
Option B.
If we go by process of elimination, and the option that was suggested by Aishwarya was B, which is 1 and 2. That means she has eliminated number 3. Why did you eliminate number 3?
It's 4 months, I guess so. 4 months.
You have an issue with this? So in joint sitting, how long is it for an ordinary bill?
6 months.
So the answer is 6 months. Okay, great. Perfect. So a small little thing. Okay, and that's pretty much it. But if you just change this one particular word, the rest of the sentence seems like, hey, that's almost right. Okay, except for one particular word there. Okay, so just be careful about these. Okay, let's take a look at another question. Which of the following tools of control may be adopted by raising a discussion in the House on a matter of urgent public importance? Censure motion A, adjournment motion B, calling attention motion C, and cut motion.
Option C.
So calling attention. Okay, calling attention. Are we sure? Anybody
Yes,
else
sir.
with another answer?
Option B.
Wait. So that means we have C and B. Okay, all right. So anything else? Obviously, it cannot be a cut motion. Cut motion comes into play when cut motion is something that, when you're talking about money related issues. I do not want to spend so much on this. Okay, we can have a token cut, we can have an economy cut, we can have a policy cut, things like that. Censure motion. Okay, censure motion is when you're basically censuring the sense of disapproval about the government's policies. Okay, that is that. Now adjournment and calling attention. Okay, on a matter of urgent public importance. Okay, all right. We'll come back to that. Very similar kind of a question. The next question as well. The object of adjournment motion in the parliament is to dash, collect information from the ministers, make a cut in the budget proposals, criticize a particular policy of the government, or D, topple the government.
Option A.
Option A. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Option A. Aishwarya says A. Anybody else? The 16th question, right? Adjournment motion. So small sort of wording differences. See, adjournment, okay, is, basically like closing down the business of the day by the speaker, right? But that is not adjournment motion. Adjournment motion is slightly different. Now take a look at this. Adjournment motion it is introduced in the parliament to draw the attention of the House, okay, to a definite matter of urgent public importance. We saw this. And similarly here, what do you see? To a matter of urgent public importance. But however, there seems to be some difference here. What are the differences? Okay, and these are adjoining paragraphs in your Laxmikanth. Okay, you can take a look at it once you go and delve into this a little more. See, this is to call the attention of a minister. So calling attention, whom are you calling? The attention of the minister. Okay, in adjournment motion, what is happening? You're drawing attention of the House. Does that make sense? Such small sort of nuances, okay, that you've got to sort of keep in mind. Now here, basically you do not have another sort of criteria here that in order to pass the adjournment motion, you need to have a support of 50 members to be admitted. Okay, and one more thing, it involves an element of censure. Okay, now just look at this and go back to that question that you had attempted. The object of the adjournment motion of the parliament is to collect information from the ministers, is what I believe, I think it was Aishwarya who mentioned this, right? If you look at this, is it the House or are you drawing the attention of a minister? It is of the House. Here it is given as minister. Okay, so close, but not necessarily. To make a cut, obviously, you guys know it's a cut motion. To topple the government, can we do a toppling by passing adjournment motion? No. Toppling ke liye, what do we need? What is the motion that we need for toppling the government?
No confidence.
No confidence motion. Okay, perfect. Okay, excellent, excellent. Okay, now again go back here. Okay, and what are the other things? 50 members of the parliament. Okay, fine, but that doesn't help me answer this question better. It involves an element of censure against the government. So meaning what? What are we left with? So basically, censure means criticize or disapproval, okay, of something that the government is doing. So do you understand process of elimination? Okay, how do you arrive at this? In order for us to arrive at this particular question, you notice that these are quite similar. So the exact lines have got to be very clear in your head. The way to keep all these lines in your head is how? Multiple sort of readings. Okay, and you will remember. Okay, now really quick, if I can just ask you this question, what are those sort of motions that can be passed only in Lok Sabha?
Adjournment, censure, and no confidence.
Adjournment, censure, and no confidence. Okay, and you guys know the difference between all of these? Just now we talked about adjournment, it requires the support of 50 members to be admitted and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's your adjournment. What is censure? If I pass a censure motion and I'm successful in passing it, does that mean the government will fall?
No.
No, sir.
Okay, so both of you, Aishwarya and Manvi, do not agree with that. So, but what does that mean? So why am I even censuring? What is the even point of it?
Showing disapproval against any of the policies of the government.
Okay. Okay. Now, can it be against an individual minister, a group of ministers, or entire council of ministers? How does it work?
All of the above.
All of the above. Okay. Great. Great. Okay. You guys can remember. And no confidence motion is basically something that you pass in Lok Sabha. And if it doesn't get passed, that means the government will fall. Okay. The government will fall. Okay. Let's take a look at question number 9. Consider the following statements relating to the procedure of election of Speaker and the Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha. The election of the Speaker shall be held on such a date as the Prime Minister may fix, and the Secretary General shall send to every member the notice of this date. That's option number 1. Option number 2 says the election of the Deputy Speaker shall be held on such date as the Speaker may fix, and the Secretary General shall send that, whatever the notice, to all the other members. What would be right?
Only 2.
And why is it only 2?
President will fix the date for election of a speaker.
And that is only for the Speaker? What about for the Deputy Speaker?
So it's option B.
Okay, and how do you know this? So for instance, if you go to 22 point, so whatever Parliament chapter is, on page number 9, you will have Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha. In that, the very first line will say, like the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker is also elected by the Lok Sabha itself from amongst its members. He is elected after election of the Speaker has taken place, and the date of election of the Deputy Speaker is fixed by the Speaker. Okay, and where is my pen? Okay, so directly from Laxmikanth. A lot of these things, if you are just very thorough with Laxmikanth, that will serve you well. Okay, that will serve you well. Okay, so Deputy Speaker, that is fixed by the Speaker. And similarly, if you go to the topic about Speaker, right? In that you will notice the speaker is elected by the Lok Sabha from amongst the members as soon as maybe after the first sitting. Whenever the office of the speaker falls vacant, the Lok Sabha elects another person. The date of election of the speaker is fixed by the president. Okay, so this is not the prime minister. This is basically your president. Okay, where basically in the first 3 sentences of this particular topic of speaker and deputy speaker. Right, deputy speaker. Okay, leave the budget portion, okay, because we did not go through the budget portion. How do you, if time permits, we'll come back and cover that as well. Okay, what about question number 11? Lok Sabha must meet at least thrice a year, no more than 2 months between sessions, twice a year with no more than 3 months between sessions, twice a year with no more than 4 months between sessions, twice a year with no more than 6 months between sessions.
Last option.
Last option, which would be D. Okay, D for Delhi.
Yes, sir.
Are you sure? Because don't we have 3 sessions? Budget session, monsoon session, winter session.
But the minimum gap should be the 6 months.
So you're saying the minimum gap should be 6 months, but what should be the minimum number of sittings or minimum number of sessions?
Sorry, the maximum gap should be 6 months.
No, see, okay, I don't have any problem with you saying this part, okay, that no more than 6 months between sessions. Okay, but can you also tell me why this and not this? Assuming that, let us say that this part is not there. Okay, I understand that you've gone through this thing because you've probably eliminated these. Okay, because the answer is 6. But what if you did not have that and you had only this? Then?
Even then it is twice.
The minimum is twice, but we do tend to have 3 sessions every single year, but a minimum that is required to be held is at least twice, right? Now, regardless of what happens, we've got to ensure that the legislature is functioning in doing whatever the legislature is supposed to be doing. And what exactly is the legislature supposed to be doing? It is supposed to be discussing, debating, bringing the voices of the people, okay, into the parliament, right? And sort of trying to showcase that. If you look at the topic on sessions of parliament summoning, okay, and we have seen this in the heading called summoning, okay, it is given very clearly. The maximum gap between the 2 sessions of parliament is not more than 6 months. In other words, the parliament should meet at least twice a year. And there are usually 3 sessions: budget session, Feb to May, okay, monsoon session, July to September, winter session, November to December. Can you please tell me what is the session that is going on in parliament at the moment?
Monsoon session.
Okay, so monsoon weather, okay, and along with this, we have your monsoon session as well. Let's look at another question. Okay, the nature of a bill, if it is certified by the Speaker of the House, okay, House of the People, so that's Lok Sabha, as a money bill, it is not open to question in the court of law, meaning the court cannot go into it. Okay, so who pretty much gets the final say? The certifying authority, which is the speaker. That is what the statement says. Is that true or false? Option number 2 is that the President of India has the power to question the nature of the bill to be taken as your money bill, right? Even if it is certified by the Speaker of the House of the People.
Only one?
Only one. Meaning, again, we are going with elimination, right? So you've eliminated option number B. That is, the President of India has the power to question. Why? So you're saying the courts cannot go into it, but the president, okay, it's not open. Okay, so neither the court can go into it, nor the president can go into it. Is that what you're saying? Sure. Do you know one such bill that had, caused a lot of sort of confusion and controversy when it was tried to be passed as a money bill? Not so important from your prelims perspective, but in case you want to sort of try to understand these, you can take a look at a bill called the Aadhaar bill. Okay, and I think that was somewhere in 2018. Okay, in 2018, and it came out as a 2018, 2019, something like that. Okay, as a money bill. Okay, and that was so what is a money bill? Money bill should deal with certain aspects that are mentioned in your Article 110. Even what comes under those the sub clauses also, we had seen it in class, right? If it is not part of that, then it should be that it is not a money bill. But Aadhaar had this money bill sort of a controversy. Okay, and things like that, some issues technically they cannot go into it. Okay, but it was so controversial that the Supreme Court sort of they raised some doubts about this. Okay, and there were a lot of articles about whether the Aadhaar bill can be passed as a money bill. But however, Supreme Court eventually dismissed this Aadhaar review sort of petitions and all that. Okay, so these are some extra gyan that help you sort of remember. Match the following. Okay, match the following are always a lot of fun. Okay, what is division, guillotine, motion, point of order? If any of you guys can solve this. The options on the other end are bringing the debate to a close. Okay, number 2 on the side, list number 2 is formal proposal made by a member to the House. Okay, so formal proposal, that is the key. Option number 3 is relates to interpretation or enforcement of the rules of procedure or the Constitution. And then concluding the discussion on demand for grants. Okay, mode of arriving at a decision. What would be division? Or let's go with guillotine. Okay, let's do the easy ones. So we just discussed guillotine at the beginning of class. Is that bringing the debate to a close? Is that formal proposal made by a member to the House? Does it relate to interpretation or enforcement of the rules of procedure? Does it conclude discussion on demand for grants? Is it a mode of arriving at a decision? Okay, a little bit of confusion. What about motion? What is the motion?
Concludes decision and demand for grants.
Are you talking
about made by a member to the House?
Okay, so Manvi says concluding discussion.
I got confused. Is the second one? Aishwarya said it right.
Okay, all right. So formal proposal made by member to the House. Okay, so no worries. Okay, so it's a formal proposal. Okay, and what kind of motion? That will decide what kind of formal proposal is being made by the member to the House. Is it about, let's say, calling attention? Is it about, let's say, those kinds of things, right? Is it about a no confidence motion? Is it about a censure motion? Is it about, those kinds of things? Now, okay, so we've solved one thing. So that means I am going to have C2. Do I have the answer with C2? That means C2. So this is going to be wrong and this is going to be wrong. I could have an answer that is here, or it could be this one. Okay, I have solved this. Now, okay, what about division? Do you guys know what is division? You don't know what is division. Okay, let's take a look at what about point of order? A point of order, right? Is it 3 or 1? So let's take a look at it. Point of order brings the debate to a close. Can that be an answer? Or can it be relating to interpretation or enforcement of rules of procedure or the constitutional procedure?
3.
Okay, so D is 3. Okay, so point of order is to follow the order. Okay, the rules. Okay, enforcing the rules of the procedure. So that is going to be number 3. Okay, so basically this is your answer, but that does not mean we are done, right? We'll take a look at each of these things and try to figure out what is the answer. Try to figure out each of these, because in every one of these things you have to do some sort of learning. So we got B and we got B and D, right? So B is done, D is done. What is no, C is done. Okay, let's take a look at B. Okay, B is basically a 4. What does it do? Guillotine is that it concludes discussion on something. Okay, it could be a bill, it could be something like a demand for grants, but in guillotine what happens, even the undiscussed portions all come under all are put up for vote. Okay, and division. See, division is one of those things in which, let us say that, we've had a lot of discussion about a particular vote. Okay, in the third stage, in this particular house, let's say we are all members of the Lok Sabha, right? We are all going to, the speaker is going to say how many ayes are there and how many people are no, right? So this, the ayes have it. When the speaker says this, that is the part that is called the division of votes. Okay, division of votes. So it is a mode of arriving at a decision. Okay, it basically tries to find out if they have a majority. Is that clear? Okay.
Yes.
Which one of the following events is not considered to be an indication of loss of confidence of the lower house of the parliament? Adjournment motion is passed. Okay. Vote of thanks on the president's address is not carried. Cut on a money bill is passed. Censure motion is passed. Or how much is the quorum of a House of Parliament of India? 1/2, 1/3, 1/10, 2/3. This particular question number 20 has some parts that we have not discussed in class yet. Okay, so that's about annual financial statement. Okay, but this is not something that you should have any trouble.
1/10.
Option D.
Option D. Okay, very clear. Okay, very clear. Now, can you also tell me what is censure motion?
Showing disapproval.
Okay, showing disapproval. So what does that mean if I pass the censure motion?
I'm not approving with that particular bill, so it's not showing the loss or lose of confidence of the government.
That is excellent. Okay, but if I ask you, can it be moved against an individual minister, or does it have to be a group of ministers, or does it have to be the entire council of ministers?
It can be passed against everything, sir.
Everything. Okay, got it. And can this? So, is this about specific policies and action, or is it generally about the confidence of the members in the ministers?
I didn't get you.
Does it mean that it is against specific policies and actions of the minister or ministers, or is it about the confidence of the Lok Sabha and the Council of Ministers?
Oh, no, the first one.
First one, wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, and if it is passed in the Lok Sabha, can we say that the Council of Ministers will have to resign or must resign from office?
No, sir.
And if they have to resign, then what sort of motion would that be?
No confidence motion.
No confidence motion. Okay, so whatever we've discussed, it's very clear. Okay, now similarly, you just have to go through this budget sort of procedure as well. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at maybe a couple of more questions. Okay, how about this? Question number 27, cut motion, calling attention motion, and privilege motion. Okay, is this too small for you to read, or are you able to read it well? Are you able to see this and read it well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Cut motion, to draw attention of ministers on matters of, so cut motion, calling attention motion, and then we have privilege motion. Okay, to draw attention of ministers on matters of urgent public importance. Okay, second one, to draw attention of the speaker towards incorrect or incomplete answer by ministers. Okay, to move a proposal to reduce expenditure on budget proposals. Which one would be which?
Option A.
One second, and there is one more, D, which is adjournment motion, and then here you have to interrupt to the normal business of the House to conclude a discussion on demand for grants. Now you take any one of these things and tell me whether it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do that. Match the following.
Cut motion is the third one.
Cut motion is the third one. Okay, so the cut motion means to move a proposal to reduce the expenditure on the budget proposals. Okay, Okay, now there are a few different types of cut motion, be that as it may. You said A3. Okay. And next one?
B1.
B is calling attention motion. Okay. And B1 to draw the attention of ministers on matters of urgent public importance. Okay, so that is B1. Okay, excellent.
C2.
Okay, C would be privilege motion to draw the attention of the speaker towards incorrect or incomplete answer by ministers. Have you seen privilege motion? Did I tell you about any privilege motion in recent past? K.C. Venugopal, Congress, the Minister of State, oxygen-related deaths in India, oxygen-related, shortage of oxygen-related COVID deaths in India, right? Did we talk about this? Did I give you this example? Anyway, not important. If I have not mentioned it, that's fine. Okay, all right. So we have A3, B1, C2. That leaves us with D. Okay, D for Delhi. Which one? To interrupt the normal business of the House or to conclude a discussion on demand for grants?
Four.
Is that because 5 is not great a choice? Is that why?
Yes, sir.
I will tell you one thing. Come here. Now take a look at this adjournment motion, right? Can I say this? It interrupts the normal business of the House. Does that make sense? Each and every one of these things, okay, is from this particular book, okay? And there is a very good chance that you understood exactly. In fact, like you would even, in case I send you to Parliament as my representative, right, you would probably even know how to use adjournment motion really well. But however, there might be one sentence that you probably have missed. Okay, and that it, something like this. So similarly, you may have read it a few times, but you may have forgotten that it, it requires support of 50 members to be admitted. And similarly here, calling attention motion, you're calling home, calling minister, right? And in adjournment, it is the other one, which is you're adjourning the House. Okay, it's not adjourning the House, but just a way to think about this. So it really depends on how well you have sort of read this, right? And see, there is another term also, like censure. It also contains an element of censure against the government. Adjournment motion, okay, it also involves an element of censure. So more reading, if you can remember these things, okay, even if you're familiar, okay, censure, I think in adjournment I read something about censure. I think that should be part of the option. Okay, or it could be that adjournment may, it is about the House. Okay, adjournment may, it is about 50 members, or adjournment, it actually interrupts, whatever it is. If you can remember these aspects, then great. Okay, in fact, if you can remember 2 hours and 30 minutes, not less than that. Okay, so things like that. If you're even familiar with these things, you will rock it. Okay, you will rock your prelims. Okay, and hence 4 is the answer. See, at the end of the day, it does not matter how you've gotten your answer, right? It does not matter, but it increases your chance of getting more questions right by simple things of rereading and sort of getting in more and more familiarity. So this will result in what being the answer? Can you tell me if there is an option like this that we are comfortable with? A3, B1, C2, D4. A3, B1, C2, D4. So will that be A? Right? Okay. So that is going to be my A. Okay, and it is good that you guys were able to match all of these things, even though, see, this is in adjournment motion, this is not the most important line. It is not about what it is, but in adjournment motion, it does interrupt. So one part of this particular motion has this one aspect given in it. Okay, so but even then you're able to match it. Okay, so that is very, very good. Okay, all right. Okay, Priya's here, so Priya's here. Okay, how about some of you also take some questions? Which one of the following powers of Rajya Sabha is provided in the Constitution of India? To reject or amend a money bill, to decide whether a money bill is a money bill, to vote for public expenditure, to delay a money bill for a period not exceeding 14 days.
Option C.
Okay, so option C, fine. How about we do process of elimination? Okay, give me a reason to eliminate. To reject and amend a money bill. Do they have that option? No, they do not. To decide whether a money bill is a money bill. Who decides whether a money bill is a money bill?
Speaker of Lok Sabha.
Speaker of Lok Sabha. Excellent, Aishwarya. Okay, to vote for public expenditure. Okay, now this is a part that we didn't specifically cover in class. Okay, annual financial statement. So just keep that on hold. Maybe it is the answer, like Manvi is saying. Okay, but what about to delay a money bill for a period not exceeding 14 days? So you can delay for 14 days. Can you eliminate this? Or can you not eliminate this? What is the rule? What is the time period within which Rajya Sabha has to send it back? Okay, with or without sort of, their recommendations. Okay, and even if they do not send it back within 14 days, it is deemed to be passed in the way it was sent by the Lok Sabha. Or if it's, they accept the amendments and recommendations, then it will be deemed to have been passed by the Lok Sabha, by incorporating those sort of feedback. How many days is that?
14 days.
14 days.
14 days. Would this be eliminated, or is this the answer?
This is the answer.
Okay, this is the answer. It's okay, because you must have gotten to C or D. Okay, C portion you may have to read a little bit. Okay, but this is sometimes you do not reach till D. Okay, A and B sound like the answer, and you're like, okay, it's only one of these things, you may go for it. Just take a little bit of time and try to see if it is, you cannot eliminate it, why can you not eliminate it? So read it again, maybe it is true. Okay, and if it is an ordinary bill, how long can the Rajya Sabha delay it?
6 months.
And delay by, let's say, Legislative Council?
3 months.
Is that it? Only 3 months? What if the Legislative Assembly sends it back with or without amendments? Then what happens?
1 month time.
Okay, so the maximum power the Legislative Council has, as Manvi just points out, is that it's going to be 3 months, okay, in the first instance, and 1 month in the second instance. Okay, techniques, small sort of details. Okay, small sort of details. Shall we look at question number 29? Okay, shall we look at question number 29? Which the method of election of members of the Rajya Sabha on the basis of proportional representation by the state legislature was borrowed from whom?
South Africa.
South Africa.
That is pretty quick. And how do you remember it is South Africa?
Like that, sir.
Sorry, pardon?
Just like that.
Manvi, I don't know if it is in my end, but I'm not able to hear you too well. If you can be a little louder, I'll increase my volume as well. Yeah. Can you repeat that again, please?
The Constitution of South Africa, sir.
Okay, that's Priya. Okay, so if you guys remember, thanks Priya, salient features of the Indian Constitution. There is a chapter number 3, I believe, in your book as well, right? In that we saw what sort of features were borrowed from which sort of constitution. So if you remember South African Constitution, amendment procedure, Article 368 kind of procedures have been taken from South Africa, and apart from that, we've also taken election of members of Rajya Sabha. Okay, so while this is your Parliament chapter, right, there is no sort of issue about sort of interconnecting these things. And when you have to interconnect this, you've got to be still, be able to make that connections. Okay, that is, in fact, that is a very important sort of a table. Now, if I may quiz you once again on that table, don't open that. Let's try to keep this a little more of a closed book sort of a test. Procedure established by law was borrowed from which constitution?
Japan.
Procedure established by law. Somebody said Japan. I think that was Aishwarya and Priya. Okay, excellent. Okay, kudos. Okay, fundamental rights.
US.
Aishwarya, number 1. Okay, great, excellent. DPSP.
Ireland.
Constitution.
Okay, all 3 of you. Ireland, excellent. Okay, and Ireland borrowed it from? Aha, got you. Ireland.
Spain.
Okay, Rahul, wonderful. Okay, Ireland borrowed from Spain. Okay, excellent work. Liberty, equality, fraternity.
Russia.
Okay, we have Russia as an option.
French, sir.
Sorry, Supriya, repeat that again, please.
French.
Okay. Francois. Okay, so that is from France. Okay, it's from the French Constitution. And apart from that, you also have your republic. Okay, republic. Now, I think who mentioned this as Russia? So let's go to the Soviet Constitution. Okay, as in your USSR and former USSR, and now it is Russia. Okay, what did they take? Similar from your preamble, they had taken social, economic, and political justice in your preamble. That is your USSR, right? If I say fundamental duties, where is this from?
Russia.
Okay, USSR. Excellent. Okay, great. Concurrent list.
Australia.
Australia or Canada?
Australia.
Okay. Do you guys ever get confused between Australia and Canada? Joint sitting?
Australia.
Okay, wonderful. Can you tell me one thing from Canada?
Amendment of the Constitution. Power vests with the center.
Center's power to appoint governor.
Once again, did we talk about amendment of the Constitution? We just did, right? So amendment of the Constitution comes from which Constitution?
South Africa.
Okay, so amendment, sorry, yeah, okay. So amendment, okay, this comes from your South Africa. And South Africa had given us one more thing, and that is your Rajya Sabha. Okay, election of members of the Rajya Sabha. Is that clear? I think that was Manvi. Manvi, so amendment of the Constitution is from South Africa, right? Okay, now that having cleared that, Canada, okay, federation with a strong center. Okay, and strong center means the residuary powers, okay, of the whatever it is, right, that is going to go to the center. Okay, and somebody mentioned about the governors. What is the point about the governors? Appointment of the state governors by the center, like how it happens in India, right? That is also borrowed from Canada. Now, so the point being, you might be comfortable with this. You might even know that this is a particular topic or there's a particular table that you need to know. But you know, I guarantee you, if any of you take like a short quiz on this thing, you'll probably out of, let's say, 30 of these points, you might get at least 5 wrong. Okay, it's bound to happen. Okay, unless you revise it multiple sort of times. Okay, but you know, mostly you're getting it, but still 4, 5 though, you will get it wrong. Okay, so again, so revisit these.
All right, guys, so that brings us to the close of our video. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you found the video to be useful. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the very next video.